This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today in the arena we are checking out on a Grixis deck. Yeah, Grixis Exile, or Pain and Suffering. Pain and Agony is my blue-black control name for a deck for some reason, and Pain and Suffering I think is proper Grixis because it's even worse. But Grixis Exile is another name you could give this deck, and it's a very different Grixis deck. I usually beat up Grixis quite a bit for not being very good, but this deck is different. It's a very unique style, and I'm really enjoying it. So let's talk about the cards. Number one, it's a Lurrus deck. Lurrus the Companion. Each permanent card in your starting deck has converted mana cost 2 or less. So before you suggest cards for this deck, it is built mostly around Lurrus. Please don't suggest a permanent card that costs more than 2 unless you plan to put it in the sideboard. More on that later. But Lurrus is in our companion spot, and then we use Lurrus as a value engine later in the game after we've dealt with our opponent's early threats. So let's get into the things. Soul Guide Lantern. This, when it enters the battlefield, exile a card from a graveyard, and then when you sacrifice it, exile each opponent's graveyard, or one in a tap to draw a card. Seemingly innocent card, and you might say, CGB, are graveyards that big of a deal that you want to run 4 copies of this mostly do-nothing card? Well, here's the thing. The plan is that this is our card draw engine late in the game with Lurrus. So once it gets late in the game and we've depleted our opponent's resources, we can bring Lantern back over and over to draw cards. In the meantime, it's a little bit of disruption. It keeps Elspeth Conquers Death bad. It keeps their escape cards bad. It does a good job. And you always want one when you have a Lurrus going, because there is a risk in this deck of not having things to do with your Lurrus when you get to the mid and late game. And Soul Guide Lantern eliminates that while being very low opportunity cost. The other kind of combo in the deck is Lazav the Multifarious, which can turn into Lurrus if Lurrus is to die. So you want to get to a place where you play your Lurrus, you bring back your Lazav, and now if they kill the Lurrus, you turn Lazav into Lurrus and continue some kind of a cycle getting things back. So that's mostly what it's all about with Lazav. Just a little bit more Lurrus redundancy. It's also a cheap 1/3 body that combines very well with Kroxa, the Titan of Death's Hunger. Lazav turning into Kroxa is very, very good because you, for just 2 mana, can have a 6/6 creature that has that discard trigger when it attacks. And Lurrus and Kroxa go together because you bring back Kroxa over and over, hit the opponent in the hand, make them discard, make them lose 3 life, and just wear them out of resources while grinding with your own graveyard. So this core bit of the deck is what the Lurrus thing is all about, is these set of cards right here, and it does a great job of fighting the opponent on the axis of hand and graveyard. So we also need to control the board, which is what we try to do with a lot of the rest of the deck, although not all of it. I know some of you are already looking at this card waiting for me to talk about it. But Agonizer Remorse, straight up, hits the hand. Scorching Dragonfire hits the creature. All this stuff exiles, which keeps the opponent from gaining any value from any death triggers or stuff in the graveyard. 4 Mystical Disputes is the counter magic of choice. Gotta keep Teferi, Narset, Tamiyo, all the annoying things away from you. Cry of the Canarium, just a one of here, but sometimes mono red comes at you quick, and Cry goes very well with Lazav and Fae of Wishes, which we're getting to. Unmoored Ego, fine. The deck doesn't have a ton of weaknesses, but one of them is its land. As soon as the opponent starts Agent of Treacherying the land, we're in bad shape. So yeah, okay, fine. I'm going to use Unmoored Ego to take away things like Winota, an Agent of Treachery, and Wilderness Reclamation, and Fires of Invention. And yes, fine, I did it. I put Unmoored Ego in this deck, And even though I think it's a very bad use of mana, we didn't have too much that we want to do in the early game, whereas most of the time we want to be setting up and getting lands into play to set this up later and get value later. So, okay, I'm taking turn 3 off to Unmoored Ego. Are you frickin' happy now, internet? God. They're not going to let me forget this. They have wishes. 4 mana granted. Go search a non-creature card from outside the game. This is a cool play with Lurrus because Lurrus doesn't let us run a lot of the cards that we would want to run as finishers in our Grixis control deck. But with Fae of Wishes, you can go fetch them, and we'll get into the sideboard in just a second. And then we have 3 Extinction Event to continue the Exile theme and just totally crush opponents playing a bunch of creatures with it. The cool thing that you try to set up between Agonizing Remorse, Scorching Dragonfire, Mystical Dispute, and Extinction Event is you try to get them set so that all their threats, all their creatures are either even or odd. So you might do weird things like Agonizing Remorse, see that their only even creature is a Robber of the Rich, take the Robber of the Rich, leave them with an Annex hardened in the Forge, something really threatening, because you're going to Extinction Event and name odd and get their 1-drops and their Annex. So those are some of the things you want to watch for with the deck. The mana, we have multiple Castle Locthwains in case we go empty-handed quickly. This deck does have a lot of low-cost cards, so I'm hoping this can help gas us back up. It also gives us things to discard to the Fae of Wishes to keep using that. And then in the sideboard, we'll just do a quick rundown of all the 1-ofs and where you would get them. If you are being attacked by small creatures, Cry of the Canarium. If Ashiok Dream Render wrecks the graveyard and you don't have a Soul Guide Lantern for some reason, I don't know, it's fine. Unmoored Ego. If you need to ego them again or you didn't draw one and the opponent's got Agent of Treachery on the way, there you go. Jace, if we deck ourselves, we can win that way. Mythos, I have no idea, but it looks really fun to make a copy of something. Extinction Event, another one. Ritual of Soot, a backup, another sweeper. Maybe I overdid it here, I don't know. Ashiok Nightmare Muse. It's a cool planeswalker that we would put in our deck, but we can't because of Lurrus, so now we can fetch it. Same goes for Nicole Bolas, though we probably fetch Bolas before Ashiok. Command the Dreadhorde can get Lurrus back, along with a bunch of other things. Liliana, same principle as the planeswalkers. Thought Distortion, if your opponent somehow let you resolve a Fae of Wishes granted and has a handful of stuff, this can be good. Chandra, yeah, you get the gist by now. Ugin, same thing, but Ugin can hit an enchantment, so... Anyway, that's the deck. Pretty excited to play with it. I've had fun in the 2 or 3 games I've played so far, and I was like immediately, okay, I've got to do a standard event with this deck, see if it's any good. I've got to share it with the YouTube because it seems pretty cool. I know you like Grixis. I've talked enough. Let's dive in. Let the nonsense begin. Dejavat. The Javet, Tejavat, Garuda, the Macro Sage, Fires of Invention, baby. Well, we'll tear their hand to pieces. Soul Guide Lantern won't be great, but probably use it just to draw cards. Croxa, Remorse, the Dragonfire may not have a target, we'll see. Maybe it just keeps Teferi from wrecking me. To battle. No Sphinx of Foresight? What nonsense is this? Alright. Pay 2 life, Soul Guide Lantern. I think it's important enough to get things on the board. We need to sacrifice this as soon as we have a spare mana, so getting a card deeper, I think makes sense. We'll see. More blue, more black, more black. So we want to hit Fires of Invention for sure, so I think I hold on to Agonizing Remorse for 1 more turn, give my opponent 1 more draw step to draw into the Fires. Discards of Fires, feels good. I guess they drew 2, let's hope they didn't draw 3. The Fairy, of course.
If you show remorse, I'll show restraint.
If they target the Lantern, we can sacrifice it in response and keep them from drawing a card, which I think is just as good as us drawing a card. So that's a little bit of an oops, I'd say. Unless they just don't want their card. That could be a thing. All right, grab the fires. Or not. I guess we will not be grabbing fires. They're missing the land. They're probably going to play another Teferi and try to draw one. I could just take the Cavalier, though. Wow, triple fires. Feels really bad. I guess I'm not dealing with that. And they top deck the land. Quality. Quality gaming. Will they play the other Teferi to draw a card? They've been super aggressive so far, so here it is.
You'll thank me later.
Here it is, indeed.
There goes nothing.
Lazav. Alright, well, we can turn Lazav into Kroxa. That's a big deal. Let's get that on the field and Scorching Dragonfire the Teferi. Another Kroxa on top. Yeah, I suppose we can play it next turn while turning on the Lazav and hit the hand. Alright, go away, Teferi.
I suppose that's how.
Now we need the opponent to miss on a land for this turn or miss on a good play. Garuda's not a bad play, that's for sure. And they have castles, so they're not out of things to do. Kind of amazing how well their triple fires of Invention draw has worked out for them. But, well, they missed something there. Now we get to hammer them a little bit. Let's start here. So the Fae of Wishes, it's like, I don't know when or how I'm going to use it. Right now, it feels like I just need to keep going after them. Although the top decks are probably going to destroy me. So it's all about pressure. Down to 11. And another Kroxa. Okay, let's hope that they can't kill me. If they find another Cavalier Flame, I'm just dead on board. Okay, they kept on top. I assume they have it. I can't take... Oh, okay. Nice play. Elspeth Conquers Death exiles nothing because Zav / Kroxa has a cost of 2. And the opponent attacks. What do they have? Nothing. I think they're dead. I think they're just dead. Unbelievable. Let's see what happens. Sharknado, maybe? I guess a Shark Typhoon would be a savior. No? Gosh, the misread on Elspeth Conquers Death is going to cost our opponent the game. Friends, family, I mean, I've been there. I've done it. I've made this mistake. You cannot exile a card if its casting cost is not 3 or greater. Lazav is 2, and look at, so is Kroxa. So is Kroxa. Well, the spam Kroxa plan actually worked out and beat the Fires deck with the triple Fires draw. Oh my goodness. Let's be on the play with good mana. The only thing we really need. Okay, well, on the draw with good mana. Nah. We'll give it a shot, though. We don't have any hand pressure, but we have a lot of potentially good answers. The opponent plays an island, I'll be happy. Oops, that is definitely not it. So, if we can't Mystical Dispute, we may as well play this. I also am thinking I might want to have Mystical Dispute open on 3 regardless of what land I draw. Alright. Sequencing lands to avoid shocking when your opponent plays turn 1 Scorch Spitter on the play is just... You just gotta be smart about it. So I'm guessing some kind of an elemental deck. Yeah. I did an aggro elemental video. It was fun in sort of. It was sort of fun. Let's make a Scorching Dragonfire available to try not to die so quickly. This is the turn where usually they play something. They don't have the Kahira Companion. I'm glad they're playing Temur. It means my mystical disputes aren't a total joke. Alright, tapped land. We have the Extinction event next turn, but we're running low on spells. Chandra Spitfire, we can name Odd, so that is just fine. Unmoored Ego. What do you name? Risen Reef? Scampering Scorcher? We will see. Odd. Ah, that feels lovely. A nice clean battlefield. Follow up Healer's Glade. Healer of the Glade. Ooh. Ooh. Wait a minute. That's not cool. That's not cool. How am I supposed to deal with that? Well, Lurrus is pretty good, I suppose. I don't have anything to pair with it. I'll just leave a blue up for a dispute. Maybe shock in a land. So I have Dragonfire as well. Opponent doesn't have anything in the graveyard to get back with Chandra yet, and they don't have a good way to attack through or block this, and they miss off the top. Lovely. If they attack, I actually gain life from the experience. Maybe? No? Yes? Weird. I guess they're hoping I goof. I won't goof. So this turn, I think what I do is hang on to this, and I attack Chandra. If the Healer of the Glade blocks, I'm pretty happy with that. I think I'm getting ahead in cards this way. Croxa. Our graveyard's not full enough for Croxa yet. This is a good window for an Unmoored Ego, though. I guess we get to double Croxa. That's 6 damage. But I still don't think it's right. Alright, jumping. A few more resources going my way. So I want to leave up Mystical Dispute, and I want to take something away from their deck. What should I take? Risen Reef is usually a very key card to them. Thunderkin Awakener would be good against me right now, but I don't know everything about their deck. I think Thunderkin Awakener is their best card against me, but I have Scorching Dragonfire, so it's not that good. Let's grab the rest of their Risen Reefs. It's a card that can definitely spiral. Or Omnath. Omnath is the other one, right? That they're certain to run. Yeah, I'm just going to grab this. Actually, Omnath is definitely the thing that would bother me the most off the top because of the damage to face. So, 4 copies of Omnath. Let's look around. We've got some timeouts. Let's study the deck. Cavalcade. Chandra's Spitfire. Scampering Scorcher. More Chandras. A lot of 4-ofs here. There is a Lava Coil. 2 Lava Coils. It's a very aggressive build. It's interesting. I like that they're combining like the Cavalcade, Scampering Scorcher, Chandra, Risen Reef thing. Like all of these things go together really well. And the Omnath is kind of the odd card out, but it's a really good thing to nail. They top deck the Reef, but the Mystical Dispute is ready. I guess that could have countered Omnath as well.
Don't worry, I brought company.
Cards in 5. So Let's see, we can Croxa, recast Croxa, or we can Croxa, awaken Croxa. Let's just go ahead and do that.
Well, that's rude. I'm late to meditation anyway.
Alright, Croxa you once. They don't have a good solution to this. Too big, too strong. How about not land? We've seen enough. Even like a Soul Guide Lantern would be great. Something to recur with Lurrus. And it's Cavalcade of Calamity. It's another land for us. But it's... I can't complain. It's going just fine. It's going just fine. We slowly sucked their soul, and Croxa brings it home. Oh man. Another one with a bad castle. I suppose I can go fetch a black source on one. On the draw, though. Oof. Oof. Our opponent with a passage. Well, there is a swamp, so now if I want to, I can shock in Steam Vents and have Mystical Dispute open on turn 2. Is it worth it? It's always worth it. Just have your options, darn it. Have your options. Alright, no blue spell, probably. I'm just going to see how quickly I can destroy myself. So Glass Casket and Banishing Light are a bit slow. Agent is, of course, a nightmare, but we'll get it eventually. The opponent says good game. Let's take the Tajik, and then next turn take the Winota. So when Jeskai Winota with control cards. I guess an anti-aggro version. Usually, and they have blue cards in their deck, so Mystical Dispute looks a lot better when they have an Agent of Treachery, doesn't it? So did they draw something to put pressure on me? Nope. Alright. Let's get that Winota now, shall we? Look at those trinkets. Look at those toys. Eventually they will come in handy. We have to be careful. Croxa? Croxa can hit their hand really hard until they're out of those toys. That's pretty good. Alright, so I think that the play is going to be granted. Grab an extra blue. No, we need an extra black to use the castle anyway. What do we want a granted for? I think I want to Unmoored Ego Winota. That is the card that if and when they draw it off the top, I am wrecked. I could also take Agent of Treachery and make their Winota a lot worse. I guess in the long game, Agent of Treachery is the real problem. I could play things like Croxa and see how the opponent reacts. These Scorching Dragonfires aren't doing much, but they will eventually. The opponent's going to play something. I don't really want to take their agents right now. So yeah, while they don't have any creatures, let's just play this. Because this way, if they go for anything blue, we can dispute it. If they go to make tokens, we can at least take one out with a Dragonfire. In like a perfect world, where right now they're holding a token, they must have drawn a few more agents. They're holding a token maker, right? And then they top deck a land and they also have a Winota. We can play against that. They found a Triome, but that is a tapped land. So do you think they have another Winota? We could, I guess, get their attention, right? And they end up exiling some of this stuff. Alright, they did have another agent. Let's make sure we get the one in the graveyard. What else is going on here? They have Sea Dasher Octopus. They have a very different take on the deck. Healers, Hawks, Fairy Vandals. They have a number of flash creatures. They have a number of Haktos. How many Haktos is that? 1, 2, 3. Holy crap. How many Winotas? 1. They only have one more Winota, so they're on budget Winota, I think. Luminous Broodmoth, that could be a nightmare. Yeah, this game is not over. It's going to be a slog. The opponent drew, I think, just all of their control cards, but now the agents are gone. Scorching Dragonfire deals with a lot of their things, so we're in a fine spot. I'm not sure what Mystical Dispute will hit. Elite Guard Mage, I guess. I really wish I'd fetched another island instead of this swamp. That's coming back to bite me. Alright, 5 cards graveyard, 2 Glass Caskets, and a Banishing Light to fight our way through. I think what we... I still don't have 2 islands. I could play this, but then the opponent has to casket it. I guess that's fine. It makes them do it. Does take down Mystical Dispute, but that's probably okay. Alright, so we put this out there. The opponent will at least use their casket or something on it. They drew something. No more shocks. We've shocked enough, and there's no way I'm drawing a card with the castle with this many cards in my hand. Okay, they have the Fairy Vandal. So they can make it indestructible. Let's wait and force them to use that mana on their turn, not ours. Since it's a new turn cycle for them. Ooh, they don't want to use these. Okay. Well, let's see if they want to fight as one. Wow. So they're just trying to save all these cards. Another Croxa, that can help us take them away, so let's keep it going. Croxa, discard one of your toys. I think my plan is going to be to discard these two to Fae of Wishes, then Fae of Wishes for something to wear this hand out, because the opponent actually is pretty frustrating. I guess the Croxas eventually get there. Like if I bring back this Croxa now, the opponent will Glass Casket it, and then I can Lurrus Croxa. I do have to get them down to 1 less card. Yeah, I can be patient though and get there. Grixis, Grixis, grind them down. Grixis, Grixis, grind them down. Fight is 1, out the door. Here's Banishing Light. Fae of Wishes can get Ugin. Ugin can destroy Banishing Light, if that's what we require. Ooh, we draw another Fae. Perfect. I think that's the best thing. Mythos of Aluna can copy Banishing Light, but... Then again, we could just get Bolus. Bolus eventually gets Banishing Light, and the opponent can't really deal with it. But I think Ugin just does all this and more. Just a super powerful card while our opponent can't seem to get their deck going. Do this now before they draw a Fight as 1. A Healer's Hawk has finally joined the fray, and now Glass Casket comes down because the opponent knows I'm about to get Croxa back. Also, if we play Ugin and blow up the Banishing Light, now they can attack the Ugin. So we don't want that. So instead we want to play our 1/4. What else do we want to do with our mana? We could also Cryo the Canarium this and hold up the Mystical Dispute. I don't love that. Let's just do these two things. We'll Cry and we'll Fey. So now we have a blocker if the opponent draws another flyer here. Look at that exile pile. Oh yeah. Grixis exile doing the exile things. Another ego. Do we just want to nail Haktos? Let's just do this.
We are but motes in a vast multiverse.
No reason to get the Croxa back just yet.
Manifest before you.
Alright, what can they draw that even bothers me here? I guess Elite Guard Mage gives them value. It's kind of weird, but when they're this far behind on value, that's one of the things that can get them back in the game.
The fabric of the multiverse obeys me.
Just pick them apart. Another review really quick. Still those Sea Dasher Octopi. That is still something to keep an eye out for, but not much else here is going to do much. One of the joys of Unmoored Ego, I will admit this, you get to look at the decks that people bring. Tank land. Ugh. Feels bad. Been there. I don't think I tank though. I think I just scoop.
Ether itself serves me.
Alright. So we can play Lurrus. Play Croxa. Does 3, and then we're short. I guess I could have had lethal here. Could have had lethal with the Ugin blowing up the Banishing Light. Should have attacked first. Then it would have clicked in my brain. Don't think it's going to matter, but leave a comment if you saw me miss lethal. I know it makes you feel good. I don't know why else you'd do it. It must make you very, very smarty pants feeling. So join the Smarty Pants gang, leave a comment. Let me know I missed lethal. Our opponent really slow rolling us on the land top decks. Oof. Wuataha? Wuataha. I don't know. Anyway, this hand has mana and stuff. We're fine. I just want to get it down right away so I can draw a card with it as soon as I have a free mana. That's why I play it the way I play it. The Furvy Champ. All right, let's go. See if you've got a way through my 1/3. That's not bad, probably. The opponent doesn't have a companion, though. They're on the more traditional take on mono red, I think. Yeah, did I shut you down? They always have like Shock or Bone Crusher Giant, right? They're tanking pretty hard, though. Sometimes you gotta sell your bluff before you bluff attack. Huh. I mean, I'll block. If you have a shock, at least I make you take your turn this way. Or a Rimrock, that's fine too. If you need to light up the stage this turn, I'm not letting you have it. Besides, might cripple their development. They didn't get to play a 2-drop the way they may have wanted to. So, I think we shock land and just get this card draw. We're going to need all the resources we can find. Our opponent's giving signs of another Rimrock Knight or a shock here. Okay, they're going for a Rimrock. Is getting rid of the Fervent Champion that important? Let's draw a card and see what we see. There are two different types of casting costs, so we need to remove one of them. Not sure which one, though. Mystical Dispute? It's not particularly great. But it does mean I can play a Draw-Go game next turn, rather than tapping out for the Extinction event, which means I should remove the creature with more power. This is mono red. They play mono red. Mono red. It is mono red. Only mono red plays like mono red. Alright, tap land, say go. Try to create like either Lurrus into Lantern or Lurrus into Lazav. Pain-free like. If we get to do it, it will be the first time you've seen Lurrus into Lazav. The Lazav can become the Lurrus, so it can keep the cycle going. Given enough time and mana, given enough things going well. Slow mono red at its absolute finest. Time to do math. To shock the face or not to shock the face. They still have 6 frickin' cards. 1 Rimrock Knight and 1 Fervent Champion. That's all they've done. So obnoxious. And just to be clear, I always talk this way about mono red. It is my nemesis. I don't care about the players. The players don't make me mad. It's not about them. It's about the deck. Alright, let's shut the Legion War Boss down. I know we could Extinction event there and exile 2 odd creatures, but I just think that's letting the opponent get too much traction because they get to keep the token. Alright. There's not a lot of choices here now. There's really not. It's Fervent Champion. Attack your face. They're reviewing the graveyard. Okay. They have wishes. Ooh. Having a 1/4 might come in really handy. But I think I still want to get the Lurrus thing going. The opponent has to deal with it because of the lifelink. Yeah! If they kill my Lurrus, this is a really good draw. They find another land. What will they do with it? They will play the Torbs. Okay, easy block, right? What if I block with both? I get to kill it. And I lose one of these two that I would lose anyway. Actually, if I lose this and name even, I get rid of Torbran. How am I getting rid of Torbran otherwise? I don't have a good solution for that, other than naming even. So I guess that's the play. Another 2 life, please. Extinction event. Name even. Torbran gone, although I'm sure they might... I think the odds of them having another are very good. Just to be clear, I don't think I'm quite done with Torbran. Do I bin this? There's very likely to be Ember Cleaves and stuff like that. And it's not like I have a ton of instant speed removal. I think I have to do better, though, than a 3-mana counter in this matchup. I need that 3 life. I'll take that 3 life. So, I don't think the opponent has shock. Or you'd think they'd kill this Lurrus to make me activate the Lazav, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? So this time I think we just let it go, because if we block here and the opponent kills the Lazav and then also has shock for Lurrus, they break up the loop. And we need the value. More than I think we need the 1 life. Because as long as we have a Lurrus, we have 3 life a turn. Annex is here. That's not good. I guess Cry deals with it, right? In a way. We have to trade. I think the opponent would trade, but we can try it and find out. What can we search for? We can search for double Cry, I suppose. Well, let's attack with Lurrus and see what happens. Before I even played the Lantern, so I'm like really enticing the opponent with some free value. Alright, so I feel like they set up for Embercleave. How do I stop it? I use Cry of the Canarium. If I do that, I exile my Lurrus. That's terrible. Now, I could play the Lantern, draw a card, and see what I draw. I could also Granted. There's not a good 3-mana play for this, though. All that Steam Bent. Let's go here. Exile this. If they have the Embercleave, am I just supposed to do it? I feel like I might have to. Let's draw a card. Make it a Scorching Dragonfire? No. Let's see, if I play another 1/4, the opponent Embercleaves here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's not good. I guess we have to do this. And then we should do this because we are going to fetch an Extinction event and name Odd with the Fae of Wishes next turn with 8 mana. Alright, no cleave yet. What do they exile? Oh no! A card I both wanted and needed, but if they cast it, it goes to my graveyard. And my Lazav gets to turn into a 6/6. Will they do it? Let's find out. I mean, there's the Rimrock Knight. Okay, they're not casting it. Scorching Dragonfire, where the hell were you a minute ago? So I think we want to go fetch a Cry of the Canarium and sweep up all of this. We can exile you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can play out our whole hand, but we'd have Cry in hand, and the opponent would have Kroxa with Robber of the Rich. Not good either. But I think it's the best. Alright, so go get Cry. Play this. Say go. See how they want to be. Soul Guide Lantern? Wow, what a wrecking. They drew better off my deck than I did. But, did they go for the castle and the lethal? Nope. They're too smart. Stupid smart red mages. I hate them. So what they get to do is Croxa the Cry. Oh, they're not going to? Interesting. But what they should do, I think, is Croxa the Cry and Soul Guide Lantern the Croxa. Let's see if they see it. I feel like I got outplayed by my own deck. But man, does Robber of the Rich just hurt your feelings sometimes. It's not really an oops if you play the Lantern. Now they're just taunting. Alright, can we get the right draw? Can we get a draw that keeps us in this game? Yes, we can. But not if I tap wrong. I tapped wrong. I wanted Ritual Set, but it won't be good enough now. It won't be good enough now, so I may as well do something else. There's nothing here that gains me life, but we do still have 2 Rimrock Knights to think about. So what I have to do now is play the Fae of Wishes. Guess the Chandra sort of works that way. Liliana makes bodies, draws cards, can be good. It's always wrong to get Chandra. So I was going to do Ritual of Soot, but oh well. This might be stronger in the long run anyway. The opponent at least has to top deck something for lethal, and it does invalidate the Rimrock Knights in a way, if I can keep it on the board. Man, having to exile my own Lurrus, we may come back to that just being a disaster. So we block here because it's an elemental. Chandra can't kill it. Oh, it was that Rimrock Knight? Oh, okay. Well, they didn't go for lethal at the castle, so they drew a shock too? I mean, it doesn't matter when you're that good at Magic. It doesn't really matter how you play the cards, does it? Not even a little. We need our even money game. We really need it. I am feeling it today. I am not feeling the love from the deck after that last game. It really let me down. And this hand might let me down, but there's no companions, so I'm guessing it's mono red or cycling. This is pretty good. Cycling usually plays a companion even. I just get black here. I trust that the blue will come. We run 26 lands. Surely the deck won't absolutely mana screw me in the critical game, right? The deck just wouldn't do that. I do feel like this deck hates me, though. It absolutely betrayed me with those to that Robber of the Rich. It just sold me out. Sold me out so much. Fae of Wishes tried to bail me out, but I played pretty poorly. And it is mono red. This is mono red. Here comes mono red doing mono red. Fun. Let's just start scorching dragon firing things, and then try to agonizing remorse at a time when we get the Embercleave or the Torbrand. Mike Martins, do you think your name is Mike Vartans? And by the way, you are forever my enemy now. You have played the mono red thing. Get the Steamkin off my lawn. We'll try to Scorching Dragonfire the even cost cards and then exile the odd ones with the Extinction event. Well, since I do have event coming up, maybe I can push my opponent in that direction by using the Agonizing Remorse now. So we take something even and we leave them with odd. Well, look at that. Our Nemesis card from the last game coming back for more. Oh yeah, it's time for an Extinction event. I could hold up Mystical Dispute, try to counter a Bone Crusher Giant, but yeah. Odd. They have no graveyard, just an exile pile, just the way we like it. Oh, please say go. Please don't cast it while I'm... Please cast it on my turn. I will Mystical Dispute this so hard. They're looking around. They're like, do they play counter spells? I don't know. Nothing here. Just this Agonizing Remorse. Nothing to worry about. Ooh, they're not even casting it. Sure. Well, they didn't cast it last time, so let's just use the Dragonfire rather than take the damage. Because they didn't cast it last turn, they probably won't cast it this turn. They're holding it for Lurrus. That's what's going on here. Alright, then let's hold Counter Magic open for them. The Squeeze of Lurrus, a card in the Companion Zone, is forcing them to play a different way. So if we play this here, we exile a card from our own graveyard. But we get to sacrifice and draw a card. I think that's fine. I choose you, Fabled Passage. So, are they going to do a thing? They have chosen a thing. They're playing around Mystical Dispute. I didn't show it to them, but they played around it. Well, they got their 2 points in. Now let's shut down their 4-3. I know that I could Scorching Dragonfire it and pay 2 life. Maybe that's just better. Yeah, plus I get to draw a card. They must have drawn another Shock. Otherwise, I don't think they would go for this play after holding it up for Lurrus for so long. Let's get that card. Yay! Well, if we pay the 2 life here and don't play the Lurrus, then we're definitely repping the Mystical Dispute way too hard for my taste. And Dispute's getting bad because they're up to 5 cards. Let's make them top deck perfectly, shall we? Will they top deck a Shock or a Bone Crusher Giant? Poke around in the yard, figure out if Crocs is coming back, and that's game. Vengeance against Mono Red. Even money dance, even money dance, even money, even money. I'm gonna have to find some music to put on while I do even money dance. It's weird without music. It's just weird to even money dance without tunes. Mali. Okay, what do they got? Garuda. What should I name? Naming Garuda is an option. Naming Spark Double, that is an option. Interesting spot. Let's get a look at their hand first. The opponent takes a mulligan. Yeah, what do you name against Garuda? You can still die to the Endrace Forerunners and such. But Garuda is the whole engine, and they get one for free that you can't unmoored Ego. They kept a 5-carder. If I find a mystical dispute, I will be fine. So we know the plan. I made this video. The plan is ramp Garuda. Let's see what's going on. 2 Paradise Druids. I can't stop the ramp. I could take one and try to slow down the ramp. But they're going to play one next turn anyway. Taking the Kogla, well, that's a big critter. I guess I can try to find Cry of the Canarium for these. They're probably going to discard this anyway, though, when I play the Kroxa. So let's take one of the Druids. Try to keep them from getting to the Garuda. It's the window for the Unmoored Ego. But do we just smash it here? I could also try to get right into Kroxa Lurrus, which would be pretty tough, but they'll just discard Kogla. I think we'll start with naming Spark Double. We could also name Endray's Forerunners. That's usually how the deck wins. Or we could just keep hitting them with Kroxa. You know I don't believe much in an Unmoored Ego type card. Alright, all land. 4 Spark Doubles. What else? Endray's Forerunners, 1, 2. Those are going to be big problems when the mana gets high enough. And of course, the other Garudas. We make them harder, at least, to really go off with. This is where being able to fetch like a Graph Digger's Cage would be nice. Although, does it get around that? I think I read somewhere it gets around that. So, we could also fetch a Spark Double, I suppose. I'm sure I have a card in the sideboard that's good against this thing. Yeah, let's go fetch. Or, well, hitting it with Kroxa 2 turns in a row probably won't stop them. They're not going to play it this turn. Ashiok, let's take out that graveyard. Cry of the Canarium, take out that Paradise Druid. Just try to keep them off of it. Eventually I'm going to have to fight the 6/6, but yeah, let's grab this. Next turn is Cry of the Canarium and Kroxa to slow them down even more. Oh, they play the Spiral. They could use Land Mori here. That would be the nuts. And now they're only a land away from the Garuda. Our graveyard's not that big. Ooh, we drew Mystical Dispute. Oh, what a draw. They can just Kogla through it if they're really smart. I think they'll go for it. If they're super smart, they Kogla here. Oh, they didn't get it, though. A little bit of a giveaway there on the dispute, though. Alright, so now what? Oh, they discard the Kogla. Oh my goodness. Alright, black. Here's Lurrus. Get back Kroxa next turn. Got that. Don't think I have another blue source to fetch, unfortunately. If I had a second island, I could go Fae of Wishes, Unmoored Ego right here. Alright, let's cast it without escape first. Another Kogla. All right, watch this be another Garuda. And an Endrace. Okay, an Endrace Forerunners. Wow. They discarded this first? Crazy. They couldn't have even cast that. Nice top deck. Think we got you this time. They're the good sport. They mulliganed to 5, and we had a pretty solid deck and plan against them. So, good sport. And we are back to talk about the game here on the post wrap and talk about the deck, what I would change. Primarily, I don't think I need all of the lanterns. I think this could be like a 2 or a 3 of, and we could work something else into the deck. Try to think of what that might be. Maybe Mire Triton's a good one, since it can give Lazav Death Touch, fills up our graveyard, helps us find Kroxa, but I don't absolutely love that idea. It is pretty good with Lurrus, though, to add a little life gain. So I think a few Soul Guide Lanterns can get cut back, since we exile so many things anyway. So that's one of the first changes I would make. The other, we don't need this castle, like, at all, really. Not nearly as much as I thought or hoped. So I definitely want another island. Let's do that. And what's another good land that we could add to the deck? Another temple would probably be fine. I guess I have 1 Temple of Epiphany and 1 Temple of Deceit. Let's just make it a nice clean 3rd temple with the Temple of Malice. And what was the other thing that I said we could do? Mire Triton? That's the next thing I would try. Just have another body, another thing we can recur with Lurrus, another thing to make fuel for Kroxa, and another way to gain a little bit of life, because there are still aggressive decks, and the format's probably going to keep being aggressive because people don't like losing to Agent of Treachery. And can you blame them? Can you really blame them? Probably not. So some changes to the mana base, a quick little mini swap in the main deck. Out of the sideboard, there are a lot of things I learned I need, which is normal. This comes up pretty often that I learn what I actually need in my sideboard from games. So Elder Spell, for sure. Enter the God Internals is a way to gain life and make a board presence, and is a pretty good fetch. And what else? Like, we could get a negate and just be set up for some super big crazy turn that the opponent might have. I just don't really love it, but maybe that is a good play, just to be able to shore up a victory when you're ahead. So some things like that make a lot of sense. Noxious Grasp is a way to kill a large green creature on a pretty low commitment of mana. Duress might be a good one too, because for 5 mana, going to get a hand hate spell could be nice. So those are some ideas. I don't want Grafdigger's Cage. I don't want to shut down my own awesomeness with Kroxa and things like that. And we have Soul Guides in the main. So I think I'm okay. Plus, like I said, there's so much exile. In the sideboard, we can keep Ashiok as our exiling machine. I do not need another Unmoored Ego. We are not decking ourselves with Jace. That can go. I didn't find a use for Mythos of Aluna, so I'll remove it for now. It's an option. I don't know if I need these or not. Ashiok, you could probably go, and Chandra, I think you can go. So I just would never fetch them. And then the last one is like Libation. Rika's Libation is a good one to put in the sideboard to make the opponent sacrifice a Thassa, because I don't really have any other way of dealing with that. We could cut the Ugin. Like, really, if we are Fae of Wishing for Nicol Bolas or Liliana, one will probably get the job done. We don't need to have an all Super Friends sideboard. All right, those are my suggestions to make the deck better. Go forth now, you awesome cool kids who watched the entire frickin' video all the way up to this point. Thank you for supporting me so much. Enjoy the show. I hope you enjoyed the deck. Leave me a comment. Remember to like. Please remember to subscribe. And also to let you guys know, when we hit 69,000 followers, that is one of the next Jank weeks. The other is when we hit 200 patrons. So we're at 177 patrons. and we're at, where are we at? We're at about 61,000 subscribers. So get me to 69,000 subs or 200 patrons. You can have a jank week full of that nonsense. I've already started building the decks for it, and I think you will be amazed. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in this next video. Like and subscribe, and goodbye.